Hello and welcome to the Crafty Diamond. I am Debbie. Today is my weekly WIP and chat, and if you are not familiar with what that is a work in progress where I'm going to be working on a diamond painting. In this case, I'm going to be working on Miss Tittles, which is by Cheryl Baker, and from the one with the diamond art, this is a huge one. So if you would like to grab something that you want to work on or just simply treat this as a podcast, then feel free. This is how much I've gotten done so far. I am almost done with the second row, and hopefully I can get that done this week and be on the third row soon. So let me switch everything around and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I think I am finally ready. Took me a minute there. I am going to be using my pen from Leopard Leatherworks. I really like this pen. I like how it feels on my hand when I'm diamond painting. I am using my tray from DP Gal Creations. I really do like this tray, and considering that this diamond painting has a lot of darker colors in it, I prefer to use a lighter tray so that I can see all of my drills better. And I am using putty from Randa's Crafty Corner, which smells really good. I have it open because I love the smell. And I am using my art dot containers. How are you guys doing? Let me know in the comments, what are you working on? I hope that everyone is well. This has been a crazy time for my family and I. I did not have a typical WIP and chat last week because we were so busy. I did a WIP and chat and I don't know what happened. This doesn't happen very often, but every now and then I will go in, I will do an actual video. I did one for an hour last week and went to edit and there was no sound. So I'm not sure why the audio did not pick up. There was absolutely nothing. So I thought, well, I'll go ahead, and I didn't have time to go back through and to record another WIP and chat, which in hindsight is what I should have done, but I didn't. I went ahead and I thought, well, since I have this, I will just make it about 15-20 minutes and I will just add music to it. And then if you want to diamond paint with that, at least you're diamond painting with somebody. You could see me diamond painting, you just couldn't hear anything. I've done that before and it actually was pretty good. This time, unfortunately, I can pretty much safely say that my subscribers, my followers, do not like that kind of a video. It pretty much, if I look at my analytics, which I don't very often, but on that one, I just had to. I looked at the analytics and it is pretty much a flop. And also, almost always, I get 100% of likes on all of my videos. On that one, I had a couple that clicked on the dislike button. I have thought about on that one to just archive it and make it private instead of having it out, and I might do that by the middle of this week because it clearly was not very receptive, and I'm okay with that. I'm not saying anything bad. I'm not, being any kind of argumentative or anything like that. Don't expect anybody to watch a video they're not interested in, so I totally get it. And that's why analytics are really good to follow, every now and then, especially if something like that happens and you just want to see, how people really thought about it. And so it's not very good. It's less than 100 views. So if you haven't seen it and you want to, feel free. It is still up, but I'm more than likely going to take that one down and just put it as a private video because I don't want to delete it. That can cause problems on the channel. But I don't know if I'm going to keep it up. And you will not see another video like that for me in the future, unless it is something in, year or two and people are asking for something like that, or if that becomes popular, then I might go ahead and try it again. But as of right now, if that were to happen again and I just could not get to another video, I would probably just go ahead and just not do it. Just don't have a video at all. That was probably what I should have done, but hindsight, they say, is 2020, and so totally get it. And I do apologize that I did not get to WIP and chat last week. I'm not even counting that as a WIP and chat number, but I was so busy last week and this week. There's just so much family-wise going on, and so this week is going to be really busy as well because of so much that's going on. But I'm hoping that I can keep up and also have a video for you guys on Thursday, and then have a video that comes out either on Saturday or Sunday. But, we'll see. I cannot promise anything until life settles down. I don't think that life for us is going to settle down until at least next year, because of what we're looking at family-wise and everything. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I don't mind being busy, but I'm just giving you guys a heads up that I'm going to try to get back to where I was. I think that my channel has suffered because of it, because I haven't had as many videos for you guys. And I totally get that too, because if you don't have any videos, nobody's going to watch you. But I'm trying to get back on schedule. I've had at least 1 to 2 videos every week, and I do apologize, but as I go through all of this, you may understand more as I'm going through this WIP and chat. But I will just say, life is always throwing some kind of a punch, and it seems like we are always getting punched one way or the other. So first of all, I am trying to keep the background noise to an absolute minimum, but I currently have 5 animals in my small house. I have 5 animals, and then right now we have an additional person in the house, which is my daughter, Maddie. She is going to be staying with us until Thursday, and then her husband will be in on either Wednesday or Thursday with the U-Haul truck that he is bringing for their move. And so he will spend the night. If he's here on Wednesday, he'll spend the night Wednesday night, and then if not, they will be moving into their apartment on Friday. So that has been just absolutely crazy. It's been very stressful for everybody, and it has just been an absolute mess, to put it nicely. But we'll get to that. I'm trying to keep everything in order. I do have notes, actually, but I did finish my summer session at work, so that is done, thank goodness. There was one class that actually struggled at the beginning. Once we got to around week 3 or 4, they started doing better, but it was, first month was rough. There's only 8 weeks in the class, and so the first month was rough because students weren't really sure what they were doing. I was having to set up special time for students, which I don't mind, but that took up, quite a bit of time as well. So now I am behind in trying to get my classes set up for our fall semester. Fall semester starts on Monday. So I have got a very busy week ahead of me because I am very, very behind. And I also have something going on this Thursday that's going to take me all day on campus, where I cannot work on anything related to work. It's just going to be a very busy event that is taking place on campus that I am part of, so I have to go to that. So I am hoping I can get everything done either before then or I can get it done by the end of the day on Friday. If not, then I'm going to be working all weekend trying to get my classes set up. I'm never this behind on course setup, but honestly, you know, it is what it is. It's set up enough to where if I had to do it today, I could, except I don't have any syllabus done, and so that's a problem, but I'll get it done. I have a plan, I have a schedule mapped out, and I'm really not as behind as I sound. At least I'm not thinking that I am, but my other school that I work for, I work part-time. It is a very heavy week for them, or last week was, and I've got a project that's due today, and I am working on it diligently, trying to get that done. So once that is done, then my week is going to be much easier. I don't have to worry about all of that. And also with Madison moving into their apartment this weekend, I'm probably going to be over there helping her as well. So we'll see, but it's never a dull moment around here. So I am trying to get caught up, which is really hard when you have 5 animals in your house and you also have, you know, additional people. I want to spend as much time with her as I can, especially her husband's not here. He is still in South Dakota. He had to go back. And then also I want to spend time because I hadn't seen her, you know, in a long time, for a very length of time. So that it's been nice, but I've also got to realize I can't just sit and do things in the evenings. I've got to work until bedtime. And then I think I can get ahead. Once I start next week, I don't think it will be that bad. And the kids will also be in their apartment, so that will also help with that. And if she needs to go anywhere, she has a car, but I'm still, you know, taking her. She doesn't know this area because we have never lived over here before, and so she's going to have to learn the area. And also with her being pregnant, I really would prefer to go with her if she needs to do anything. I mean, even though I don't have to, nobody went with me when I was, you know, pregnant with her or with her sister, but, you know, that doesn't matter. I still want to be able to do as much as I can to help her out and to help her husband out as well. I know he is really stressed. He has to be, all the stuff that's happened. So that is what's going on with work. And then I'll have to start going on campus starting next week. So because of that, I won't be able to be in the house as much. So Dawn Painting is definitely suffering. But Paige has also been sick again. And she started getting sick 2 weeks ago whenever I had my last WIP chat. Let's go with H, it's number 17. I had my last WIP chat and she was starting to feel bad. And it just hit her like it always does. And just really quickly. So I called her doctor. They did prescribe her the Z-Pack, the steroid. So she took that, and it takes her about 2 weeks once she takes antibiotics or any kind of medication, it takes her about 2 weeks to be able to get over being sick. So she felt just really bad. And I thought she was starting to get better, but she had to miss 2 weeks of work. And then we found out this past Friday that whenever she sent a text to her boss, telling her boss that she was sick, she couldn't come in. Her boss hit us with a big whammy and said that she was no longer working and that Paige needed to contact the location. And she didn't even say who had taken over or anything. So I'm not sure what happened there. And nobody told us. I don't really need to know. It's none of our business. But I really loved her manager. She was the one that hired Paige. She was the actual division manager. And she did a lot for that company. So I contacted her after Paige got off the phone with her, or after Paige texted her. And so I contacted her and I told her, I'm so thankful that you were there to help Paige, and we're really going to miss you. I hope everything's okay. If you're working somewhere else and you need to, hire somebody, please consider Paige, because she would really like to work for you again and continue working for you. And the only thing that she did, she sent me a message and she said, thank you. I'm going to really miss both of you. And I think Paige is just a sweetheart. And she left it at that. So I'm assuming that she's not working anywhere, but, I could be totally wrong. So Paige called on Friday, and whoever answered said, yes, we know you work here. Because Paige said, I am Paige, and I work there, and I'm having to miss because I'm sick. And so the girl's like, yes, we know you work here, and this is so-and-so. And she said, I'll let the manager know that you're not going to be here Friday. And so after I got off the phone with her prior manager, I was talking to Madison and to my husband, and I said, I hope that they're not going to come back and say, well, we're not going to need Paige. I think the only reason why that her former boss had hired her 2 years ago is that she loves special needs. She wants to help special needs people. And her sister was special needs. She helped her sister when her sister was, growing up, even into adulthood. She helped her sister. And so she said that they are always special to her heart, and that she wanted to help Paige. And so that's how Paige got her job. So I don't know if they're going to keep her. And then Madison said, well, I think that, they can't just fire her if she's doing a really good job, because the fact that could be discriminating. And I said, well, I guess in a way it could if it looked like that. But she only works 3 hours a week. And they can easily come back and say, we really don't need you. I don't know if they're going to do that, but I told Paige, I said they might. They may come back and say, we don't really need you to work here anymore, and that would be that. And so I said, don't get upset if they tell you, because you didn't do anything wrong. I don't want you to be upset, because Paige gets upset if she feels like she let somebody down, or if she feels that someone is thinking bad about her. She gets really upset, has meltdowns because of that. And I said, you're doing a good job. There's nothing that you have done wrong. And I said, it may be fine. They may not say anything, but they could come back and just say, we're no longer going to do this program. We no longer need you. And I don't want you to get upset. And so she said she understands, but I'm sure if that happens, she's still going to be upset. So hopefully that won't happen. But if it does, honestly, it will not upset me, because I'm having to drive a pretty good distance on Fridays, and then to take her to work for 3 hours. And then it's too far to go back home. So I go either shopping, or typically I will go to the library. And so I will stay at the library until she's done, and then I go and pick her up. And the library is another 20 minutes that I have to drive to get there. So I'm spending quite a bit of time. And then the library is kind of loud, so I can't really do a lot of work there. And my Fridays, it just seems become all I'm doing is driving. But I'm doing it because she enjoys working, she likes her job, and she may not after her boss leaves. She may not like her job anymore. And so that's something else I have to just think about and decide what we're going to do. So I'm going to wait and see how things go, how they treat her, if this boss is going to treat her the same as the other one did, or if it's going to be a problem. And I'm not going to have her looking for another job, because all she wants is like 3 hours, and nobody's going to do that. And she is getting supplementary money, not very much every month, but just enough that gives her a little bit of spending money, and she can buy some things on her own. So she does have some money coming in, and that's not why she's working, because you don't make money working 3 hours a week. So anyway, Paige she ended up going to the doctor, and we saw somebody different this time, and she doesn't think that it's allergies or a sinus infection that Paige keeps getting every few months. She thinks it could be that when the weather starts to change in one way or the other, she thinks that because of the weather change, that is giving Paige headaches. And she thinks that Paige is getting something that she called seasonal headache or weather-related headaches. And I don't think it's a migraine, because if it was a migraine, I don't think Paige would be able to read and to do everything that she's doing when she is going through these episodes. And we've been to an ENT. They said that she has allergies, but it's nothing severe. They did several workups on her sinuses, even did the camera where they looked into her sinus cavities to see if they saw anything, and that came back clear. The doctor looked at her and said her sinus, I just popped a couple of drills. I knew I would do that because it's really tight. Her doctor came back and said that her sinuses are clear, so she doesn't think it's a sinus infection. And so that's when she said, I think it might be related to the weather. And so she wants us to keep a journal of when this happens, the dates, and if there was a weather change or anything like that, to just see how that goes. So we are doing that right now. We're doing that right now, and then she did give her some more medicine that did seem to help her, and we're just going to wait and see. So she's feeling much better now. She will be going to work on Friday, which will be good because it's been, like I said, 2 weeks since she's been able to work, and she really needs to get out of the house, and she's feeling so much better. Her birthday was actually on Sunday. I'm recording this on Monday. Her birthday was on Sunday, and she was feeling so much better for her birthday. So I am really thankful for that. And looking back, she's usually sick on her birthday. So I'm thinking that she just happened to have gotten sick a little bit earlier this year, because we have had a lot of weather changes here. It has been crazy. We have gone from 90 plus degrees into the 70s, and today I am wearing a hoodie. I mean, this is in August. This is very unusual for us. And the weather reports that we're getting is that they're saying we could possibly have a really bad wet winter here, one of the worst we've had in a very long time. So my husband is kind of preparing for that at work. He said that they're starting to talk about that too. And even the local meteorologists are coming back and saying that the Farmer's Almanac that my dad used to follow religiously, he said was very seldom wrong. The Farmer's Almanac is also predicting this. So my husband he's starting to get things prepared for work. And he's like, I need to start thinking about the house too. And this is our first winter here, so we're not sure what it's going to be like. We are right outside of the mountains, the North Georgia mountains, and so we could get some possible bad weather. I will not drive in snow. Well, usually ours doesn't go. It goes from snow to ice, just sheets of ice, or it goes into black ice, and I won't drive in it. I absolutely refuse. So I am lucky, because if that happens with work, I will just work from home. And I'll tell my students we're going to have to log in and do an online lecture today or whatever it is. And a lot of times, most of the time, the school is going to be closed anyway. So I'm not too concerned about me. Paige doesn't go anywhere, so I'm not really concerned about that either. But we have to make sure, of course, that we have enough food here. We have to make sure that we have our generator is ready to go, and that we have the gas for the generator, all of that good stuff that we have to start thinking about. And then make sure the dogs the dog and the cat have plenty of food and just things that they need. And then that we have firewood, because we have gas heat, but you have to have the electric for the starter, and so that's not going to work. So anyway, we are starting to think about the winter, which is hard to believe because it's only August. Usually in Georgia, it is extremely hot in August, and September doesn't really start to cool off like it is now until October. So it is kind of concerning us because of that. And I am liking this early fall weather. Even our trees are starting to turn. We are losing a lot of leaves that I noticed in our neighbor's yard. We don't have any trees in our front yard, and the trees that we have in our backyard is behind our fence. They actually go into what we call the forest. It's just an area behind us that actually goes down to a local lake. And it is a mess down there. We don't go down there. I can't imagine what's down there. I don't think that anybody has been down there in years. My husband does want to eventually go and do just small sections at a time and then get that cleared out so that he can walk to the lake and go fishing or just sit out by the lake, whatever that he wants to do. And so we have talked about doing that. I'm not going to be doing it because I can't imagine what's down there. And getting down there, you probably almost kill yourself trying to get down to the lake. So it'll be a while before that happens. But he will have something to do if he gets bored in the winter. Although we have a lot of to-dos around here that we are planning on working on the house. And that was going to be this winter, so he'll have plenty of that to do, especially if it gets nasty, because everything is inside. Well, some of it's inside, almost all of it, but he is going to change out our electric panel and to add more ampage to the house. And he is a certified electrician, and works daily with that, so he is able to do that, and then we just have approval, and then we can have our power turned back on. So he wants to do that. He actually wanted to do that like in October. I don't know if he's going to get to that or not this year, or when he wants to in October. It may be a little bit later, but that's the plan. And we're still waiting to hear back from the structural engineer on having the plans, so we can send the plans to our local city to get an approved permit to get started on our deck being covered. That has been an absolute process. It has been absolutely ridiculous that it has taken this long. We paid the guy over a week and a half ago, have not heard a word from him. So my husband said if he doesn't call me by afternoon on Monday, then which is today, of course, he said that I'm going to call and find out what the holdup is. So that's happening. And then Madi flew in on the 1st. And so she got in very early. Her dad picked her up at the airport, and then she stayed over there for a few days with him. And then she was supposed to move into her apartment on that last Thursday. Well, that did not work out. That was absolutely horrible disaster. Her husband drove, and he drove her car. He got here on that Thursday. They were supposed to move, or Wednesday. They were supposed to move in on Thursday. So they went to first do a walkthrough on the apartment. They hadn't even seen the apartment. Her dad went and got the apartment, did a walkthrough, and they said that it wasn't that unit. It was a unit similar, but that unit was still being it was still being leased by somebody else, but it would be ready in plenty of time. Well, this went on, this was 3 months ago. They had already gotten the lease signed. Everything was good. It took, and they were already having problems. And so I said, I don't know about this apartment because y'all keep having problems. You're having to call this lady. She's not doing what she says she's going to do. She's not sending the information out to you guys like she should have. And as it got closer, I'm like, I'm really getting concerned with this woman. Well, then they found out that they called because they were supposed to move in, hadn't heard anything before the move-in date, and they called and they said, well, she's no longer here. And so they were supposed to have the walkthrough on the day that her husband came in. That was actually 2 days before they were supposed to move in. So they went up there, they were going to do a walkthrough, and then the new manager said, no, I thought that you guys were going to move in today. And Madison said, well, we can, but we haven't even seen the unit, and we could go ahead and move in, but that wasn't what we were told. So then they came back and they said, oh no, that apartment's not ready yet. You can't move in. You can't do the walkthrough yet either because we don't have it scheduled. And so that was the beginning of a mess. So then they said, you can come in 2 days and you can do the walkthrough and you can move in at the same time. So they asked me if I'd go up there with them. I went up there with them. It was at 10 o'clock in the morning. The walkthrough they didn't even have anybody going through the walkthrough with them. It was just them. So nobody from the complex was going in, but people kept coming in and out, and they realized with this apartment, you don't have keys. You have a touchpad that is on the door, so it's keyless, and you also do it on your phone. So then they couldn't get the door to work. They had to get their construction manager to come through and to help. They had to go and manually do it. And then he came in and he said, well, the router or whatever it wasn't plugged in. So he took care of that. There were so many things in the apartment. It opened the door and I'm like, something smells really bad in here. Well, they didn't notice that, but I did. But I'm very sensitive with the smells. So I'm like, okay. So then we started looking. They found so many things wrong with their apartment. It clearly was not ready to move in. It was absolutely filthy. I'm like, there's no way anybody could have even spot cleaned this. It's just absolutely disgusting. The paint was supposed to be new paint that they just, painted the apartments. The carpet was supposed to be brand new. The carpet looked like it just had places all over it where it had snags, and the color of the paint was different colors. Wasn't even the same color of brown all through, so it looked really bad. And I thought, well, okay, we shouldn't really be concerned that much with the paint, but the other things, the blinds were broken, the door wouldn't close good. It went on and on and on. It took them over 2 hours to go through a walkthrough that should have taken about 15 minutes. So then they turned that in, and long story long, they would not do anything. They said, okay, we will, we acknowledge there's a problem. They wouldn't go in there, and they said, you can come back in 2 days and we will clean the place up. You can move in. So they went back. Actually, it was the next day. They went back and they said, come after 12:30 and everything will be fine. They went in there. They had not been in to clean anything up. There was still food and stuff on the counter. It was awful. And so I told Madison, I said, if it were just the problem with cleaning, I can come over here and we can all clean. You can do some cleaning. Paige can help clean, and I'll clean. We'll get it done. And then her husband, can do that too until he had to go. And so we were starting to run out of time because he had a flight that he was supposed to catch. ended up staying 2 days longer than what he had planned on staying. So he had limited things that he brought with him. So he had to end up going to Target and buying a couple of things. So then anyway, they ended up, they went back and they said, well, this still, the blind still is a mess. It's not fixed right. And this and this and this is wrong. And you did not clean out any of the vents. The vents, you could just see dust and whatever it was coming out of the vents. And I told Madison, you can't breathe that stuff in. And they should have cleaned that up, and they didn't. Okay, you guys, sorry I had to stop for a minute. My husband came in. All three of the dogs started barking. They wanted to go outside. So Madison is taking them out and watching them because her little one has gotten out. That was another thing. Her little one got out and started running all over the place. And I kept yelling at her, and the more I yelled at her, the more she would wag her tail, and she kept running down the street. So Madison wasn't at home then. They were up at the apartment talking to the apartment manager, and I had to get in the car, got Paige in the car. I said, we have to go and get the dog. And so we finally found her, and she started running again, and I got some treats, tried to lure her in with treats, and then she went right back to our house. So she was smart. She knew where the house was, and which was, thank goodness. And then she started jumping on the door, thinking that I guess that Madison was here. And so I got her, Paige and I cornered her, and we got her and took her in the house, and then she dug a hole, and that's how she got out. So she's kind of like a Houdini, like our Zoe was. So it's kind of funny. But she has not gotten out since. My husband fixed that part where she dug the hole, and now we don't let her outside unless one of us is out there. But I think she just wasn't used to where she was, and she was scared. So anyway, they ended up just saying, we cannot live in this because the electric wasn't fixed right. It was awful. And so, and I agree with them. I'm like, no, you're not going overboard. There's no way. You cannot live here, especially with you being pregnant. They knew she was pregnant. And they're, I'm like, you can't live here. And they were paying quite a bit of money for rent. So anyway, their dad called corporate. He had to get involved. He shouldn't have, but he did. And he called the corporate office and was complaining. Well, because he was complaining, when they went and they said, we can go and clean it one more time. We will go in and take care of all the problems. And they said, we acknowledge that the unit is not as good as it could be, but you're just being way too picky. I'm like, well, your blinds are just hanging on. I don't think that's being too picky, that they just asked them to fix these things. And so then basically the manager as well as the maintenance manager both told them that they were not welcome there. They're like, well, if you want to stay here, you can. You're not welcome here. We're going to watch everything that you do, and we're going to be really watching very carefully. And if you do one thing wrong, then we're going to take matters into our hands, or however they said it. And so Madison's like, I don't want to be where I don't feel welcome. I'm like, no, y'all can't stay there. You just can't. So then he had to leave the next day. He also had to go and sign some papers for work. And so I'm like, okay, let's do this. Why don't you go with me? I found a place that I had told him about, and then there was a place that they were interested in. Madison was at the beginning, but he wasn't interested. And so then they started looking at it again online. He's like, yeah, why don't y'all go and look at that? He said, I really like this one. They've got some units that are open, and so that's what they did. Or that's what we did. So Madison and I, after he went one way, we went the other. We went and looked at this apartment complex. It is fairly new, very, very nice. The property manager and her assistant are super, super nice. Everyone that we met there was really nice. Their community area was perfect. They have a really nice pool, and it's a smaller place, and it is newer. It's more modern, and it costs about the same as the other place. And so it's right down the street from where they were going to live, which is good because they wanted to be in that area. So then he went back on Saturday. We went and we went ahead and put an application in on Friday before he left, and then he still hasn't seen it. And so she decided she wanted to go forward with it, so that's what they're doing. And we got a call today saying that they're approved, everything is good. We did have to stop and give them a money order on Saturday after we dropped him off at the airport, and driving around, traffic was absolutely horrendous in Atlanta. Not sure why, but traffic was the absolute pits. It was just horrible. And so we found a back way. We used Waze and GPS system, and so it told us the best way that we should go. And so to get out of all of that mess, so that's what we did. We went around, and then from there we had to go to the grocery store, and so we were really busy on Saturday. I've been going to the grocery store quite often, and we did order pizza one night and trying to figure out how we're going to feed everybody, and ordered pizza when her husband was here, and so that worked out. And he is really thankful that, you know, we have a place for him. The bad thing is that we don't have a spare room. We have Paige's library. We don't have a spare bed. We do not have a couch currently because we can't decide what we want to do with our living room, and so we haven't bought a couch. So we have our chairs, recliners, that Dave and I sit on, and then Paige has her chair. And so we're having to kind of play musical chairs so everybody can have a chair. And then we have no place for anybody to sleep. So Madison has taken over Paige's room. Paige is on the floor on a blow-up bed, and she hates blow-up beds. She started in whenever I told her, and I said, look, you're not doing this for your sister, which she is, but you're not doing this for your sister. You're doing this for your baby C. And she already loves her niece. And so she's like, well, I don't want baby C to have any problems. I'm like, well, baby C can't sleep on the floor like that. Because if Madison got on the floor, I don't know how we'd get her up. Even though she has been exercising, she looks really good. She has been getting up and down the floor sitting there. So she could actually do it on the floor, but I don't want her sleeping on the floor. That's another thing. But, you know, sitting on the floor, playing with the dogs and stuff, she has not had a problem getting up or anything like that, but I don't want her sleeping on the floor. So Paige agreed for the baby. So we have Paige on the floor. We have Madison in Paige's room. My house has got boxes everywhere of theirs because I have no other place to put it. They were going to stay with her dad. He ended up going out of town, he and his wife, to go to her reunion for her high school reunion. And so they'll be back on Wednesday, and they would rather stay with us than with them. Madison said, I really don't want to stay with Daddy. And I said, you know, I got it. I understand that. Totally get it. I said, you're welcome to stay here, but the dogs have to stay downstairs, which is in my craft room. Now my craft room is in an absolute disaster. You know, all these boxes and dog toys and dog bones and dog bowls and all the things. So it's been really crazy, but our dogs they all get along. I've got Madison's cat is in the bedroom with her, and Paige's cat is roaming around, but she is staying clear from downstairs because of the dogs. She doesn't want to have anything to do with them, so that's good. And we haven't really tried to introduce the cats. I think that Madison's cat would be okay. It's our cat, but I'm not sure. She should be fine because, you know, she was with a litter, but Madison's cat is pretty big. She's one of those fluffy big things that you have to have groomed. And I don't know how, our cat did see her and she kind of hissed. She wasn't even close to her, but she kind of hissed because she was walking around in the room and she didn't know that she was in there. And so I think that scared her when she saw another animal in there that she didn't recognize. I think they may have been fine if we introduced them together, but it's just easier, keep them apart. So that's kind of what we're doing. But they ended up getting approved for another apartment. The apartment is super nice, and it's on the ground floor, no stairs, which is really good for the dog. It's good for the baby, so they don't have to carry all those things upstairs, and the baby, and you have to deal with set of stairs for, you know, groceries and all that stuff, all the things. So I'm glad for that, for them and for us. And so they did decide on that unit. It's a 2-bedroom, which is what, you know, they wanted in the first place. And so now that's done. So I am grateful for that. So now Kyle has to drive a truck here, and they were supposed to get a 15-foot truck. He only needed like a 10, and even the 10-foot truck, didn't need that much, but they won't let him have a 10-foot truck because he is going to be hauling his car, and they said that his truck, and so they said that that would not be ideal for that size of a truck, so they got him a 20-foot truck. And so now he's having to drive that here. He is going to leave on Wednesday there, I believe, Tuesday or Wednesday, and then he is planning on being here on Thursday. We just have to figure out where he's going to put the truck overnight until they can actually unload on Friday and Saturday. They've got movers that's going to help them on Saturday morning, and my husband said, you don't need to pay for movers. I'll be glad to help you. And they've already paid for the movers, so he doesn't know if he can get his money back. And my husband had said from the beginning that he would help, but they already feel like that we've done so much that he didn't want to be a bother. And I'm like, he really doesn't mind. You don't have anything that's just super duper heavy. So he really, you know, he said he didn't mind, but anyway, that's that will be good that they get moved in. And then on Sunday for Paige's birthday, Paige and I love to go to this ramen bar. It's an eclectic restaurant. They serve primarily ramen. And we went there on Sunday for Paige's birthday. So I now have a 24-year-old, which is really hard to believe. And my husband doesn't like it. Well, he hasn't tried it. We don't know if he likes it. He says that he's not going to go just to get soup, to get noodles. I'm like, they have more than just the ramen bowl that we usually get. But he wasn't interested. So Madison, Paige, and I went to Genia's. And then from there, I took Paige to the bookstore. She got 3 or 4 books. So we went to the bookstore. I got Paige some books. And then went to Paige's favorite place, of course, that is Bath and Body. And she got some more things there. I told Madison she can get 3 things. And then we ended up leaving there and coming home. So we got home kind of early on Sunday. Paige's cake turned out really cute. It was a Nemo cake. She likes to have designer cakes, and she likes her cakes from a store here. So she picked out Nemo. Well, it was like a 5-layer cake, and it's really good though. I don't know how long it'll last. So she got her cute little cake. I got her one little balloon. She'd already gotten all of her gifts before her birthday, but I did get her a couple things, and she still opened those before her birthday. And then she bought herself a birthday gift. So it turned out really nice birthday for her. And then last night, we pretty much just hung around, sat outside. And then today, it is raining all day. So it has been raining pretty much off and on all day. I have to go and pick up groceries, and I have work to do. Thursday, I am going to be busy with work all day for a work event, but I am going to try my best. I have a, I'm almost done, about 10 minutes. I have a couple of videos that I need, or a couple of paintings that I need to unbox. I need to kit up for what I'm going to work on starting in September. I need to do a Finera short video, which I am planning on doing that one. It might even come out the same time that this one comes out, the same day. So if you are interested in joining the Finera event, then be sure to watch that one or join the one with the Diamond Arts Facebook group. I'll put their information below so that you can check them out. I think it's going to be a really good time. I am going to work on 2 diamond paintings. I'm working on one from the one with the diamond art, and then I'm going to work on one from Diamond Painting Shop. I've already unboxed Diamond Painting Shop, but I need to go ahead and I need to get that one up. So that's going to be another video that I plan on doing. Got to figure out, first of all, what I'm going to have to do, I think, is I'm going to have to kit down my diamond painting that I completed from Ever After. And once I get that kitted down, then I can kit the other one up. I think she's going to be really pretty from the one from Diamond Painting Shop. And then I have not gotten my diamond painting in yet from the one with the diamond art. I hope it comes in on time, but it will sometime in September, so I'm not too worried about that. It is one that's a limited release, and they had not released it yet. So once they do, then that will be sent to me. And then I will unbox that one, and I will also go ahead and I will kit that one up. So you'll see an unboxing and a kitting up on that one. I also want to do something for Drills and Chills. I had picked something out that was Finera that I thought, well, I could do that one too for Drills and Chills. I ended up not getting that one, but I got the limited release because it's limited for the event. And so I thought, for the first Finera event and for the collaboration that I am doing with the one with the diamond art, that would be really cool to do the limited release. So I didn't order the other one. And now I got to figure out what I'm going to do for Drills and Chills. I'm not going to officially enter anyway. It'll be an unofficial entry. I have so many fall and Halloween. I'm not even really a Halloween person, but I really like some of the ones that are the witches that aren't spooky, or ones that have black cats in them that's clearly fall. So I've got plenty of choices. I just need to look and see exactly what I want to do. I'm going to pick up something small in my stash. I am officially on a very, very low buy. I'm on a no buy unless something comes in that I absolutely have to have, and that or something that is on any of my wish list that I have that is like a must have once it comes back in stock. If I've been waiting for it for a long time, I will do that. But otherwise, I am on a very low buy. And I did buy something this weekend. After I bought that, I'm like, okay, you can buy this, but if you buy this, you're not buying anything else. And so I am going to stick with that. There was a new Cheryl Baker that just came out from the one with the diamond art, and it's a bear. I have, our house is set up with animals, animal prints, and like something that you would see, you know, in a forest somewhere. And I did that because of the mountains. So you'd see it mainly in the mountains. And so I thought the bear was so cute. I thought this would work out perfectly with the theme that we're going for. in our house. So that's why I got that one. It is one of the most expensive paintings I have bought in a long time, other than my Beast one from Diamond Painting Kiss. That one was the most expensive I've ever paid for a painting, and I got that one at a discount, and it was still very expensive, but it's a larger painting, so I could see paying for that. But this other one, it's not, I mean, it's large, but it doesn't have, I don't even know how many colors. I just saw it. I'm like, okay, I'm assuming it's a square. I don't even look at these things anymore, guys. I usually do look at the colors, how many colors are in, but I don't look to see if it's a round or a square. I do look and see the size. I'm assuming it's a square. I think it just would about have to be a square. And if it's a round, that's fine too. A lot of times they do give you options on the one with the diamond art, but this one was not an option. This was this only. So that is a-okay. But that'll take a few weeks to come in, so I won't be doing that. Probably won't be doing it this year, but I will schedule it for next year. I'm already starting to think about next year and my goals. My goals for this year, I am still looking at them. I am still hoping that I can meet some of those goals. Probably not, but I'm still hoping that I can meet something. If I don't, I can just say how close that I've gotten. But you know, I'm still working on my goals. It's just, I am not going to, you know, bust myself for not getting the goals. I'm not going to stop what I'm planning on working on and trying to focus on the one goal that I had for the Mandy Manzano. If I get 1 out of the 4 done, that's 25%. I'm good with it, and I'm working on that one now. So that should be okay, but my goals are still intact for my diamond painting. Let's see, what else? I've almost finished this row, my second row on this one. This one does go really fast. I am slow when I am doing WIP and chats because I'm thinking about what am I going to say, what am I going to say next, you know, kind of thing. But when I am actually working on my own, I'm listening to either other WIP and chats or other podcasts or whatever. Sometimes I listen to a audiobook. I do go ahead when I do that, and I am pretty quick, pretty fast. But when I go to do this, I'm always slower, thinking, okay, what do I need to say? What do I need to focus on? So anyway, this should go fast. I should have this one done hopefully sometime this week. If not, I'm hoping I can get it done this weekend. If I can get my classes set up by Friday, then I don't have to worry about anything over the weekend, except my house is absolutely filthy. You know, when you have 5 animals in your house, in a small house, and then you have, you know, other people, and you're having to move things around to, you know, accommodate so that, you know, Paige can sleep on the floor, or so that Madison has room, you know, to put her things that she has in the house, and, you know, extra groceries and different things. But I'm so excited to have them here. I am so glad that everything has worked out with their apartment, and I do believe that everything happens for a reason. I feel that there was a reason that they did not mesh with the apartments, that the apartment was not ready. I think that this was the best thing that could have happened. And I'm sure we will see that in the upcoming months. I'm really excited that they're not having to go on any steps. Madison's dog is going in and out of my legs, and she's pressing on my leg kind of hard, so it feels kind of weird. But anyway, I'm not sure what exactly she wants. Now she's about to start crying. She may want Madison. She is really close to Madison. That's her person. But let's see. I am still working on Craftably's Lighthouse. I am over halfway done with that one. I would love to get that one finished by the end of this month. The month is almost half gone already, and I haven't gotten much of anything done. So hopefully I will be able to work on the lighthouse and work on this one. I also want to work on my beast because I haven't spent any time on that one. I'm thinking about on my Josephine wall, I may put that one up until the J-Wall event, which I'll be doing again in April next year, if everybody still wants to do it, so I can bring that one out and work on that J-Wall. That is what I'm kind of thinking of doing. Instead of worrying about it right now, just worrying about everything else that's in my stash. If I have time, I would love to get back to it because I love working on it. But I may just work on that next year and not have a finish for J-Wall for 2025, and that's okay too. I don't have to have one every single year. Some years I've even had two, so I am good with that. And then I did post my review on Ever After diamond painting. It was my first one that I completed by the company. It turned out really pretty. So if you haven't had a chance and if you are interested in learning more about the company, then check on that video. That will show you what the end result looked like. And let's see, I did unbox the new Art Dot. They have 4 new premium canvases, large canvases that have come out, and I was given 2. I really like the 2 that I have gotten. I might even do one of those for Drills and Chills, so that way everyone can see what it looks like. I do have a code and a link that's underneath that video. So if you're interested in that, you can use the link and you can save 10%. And then, let's see, I did a July month in review. That one was really fun. I did go over some of my WIPs, not all of them, the ones that I did something with during the month. I went over those. And let's see, and then the one that was just the work in progress with no music, we discussed that. And I am sorry about that video. I really, truly am. I thought that the reception of that one would be better than what it was, but it was not. And that is okay. As I said, I am not disappointed or anything. I'm glad that I know that that is not something that everyone really cares for, and I totally get it. I don't know if I would like it. I mean, I'm honestly not sure, but I did listen to it as a diamond painting. I thought it was kind of like the music. It's just piano music, and I only did like 20 minutes instead of doing any longer than that. But even the time that was on there, most the ones that watched it just watched it for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then that was that. So anyway, with that one, I'll decide if I'm going to take it down. I'm not just going to take it down. I'll put it on private, because if you take it down, it messes up the algorithm. The algorithm does not like it when you take down a video for some reason, especially one that's been up for a while. So I'll leave it up, but it's going to be underneath private. And other than that, I'm going to continue working on this diamond painting, seeing how far that I can get. This one is so much fun. I hate to stop it. I think I'm going to focus on this one this month, and then also focus on the lighthouse. I would love to try to get to work on my passion project. I haven't even laid a drill on that one yet. That's something I'd like to focus on in August as well. And then September, because of the event, I will focus for the most part just on Finera. And then I will work on this one a little bit, but it won't be very much. Let's see, what else? I think that is about it. I've been talking for a very long time. My husband just got home from work, and I have to go and pick up our food for the week, and I've got to get back to work, and also I need to get this video edited and get it ready to publish for tomorrow. Thanks so much for sticking around until the end. I really do appreciate it. And if you have not subscribed, I would absolutely love to have you here at our friends and family with the Crafty Diamond. And please click on that like button if you liked this video so that it will get more views, hopefully, because I have not gotten very many views lately, and so that is a little disappointing. But I do appreciate all of you, and until next time, happy diamond painting. Bye!